Hey guys, welcome back to Chariot Palmistry. My name is Sulabh Jain, and in this video I will be giving you my predictions what I think is going to be happening with the markets over the month of July. But before we do that, let's have a look at my track record over the month of June, because it was really bad as per my standards. I'll throw up a screenshot and show you guys exactly what I mean. So these were my predictions on what I thought would happen in June. The first one was I was predicting a major Bitcoin price rise, and I absolutely got that one wrong. In fact, that's a follow-on prediction that I made in May, which was also wrong, where I was predicting a Bitcoin price rise happening then. Because it didn't happen in May, I thought it was inevitable it'll happen in June. So I've been wrong for 2 months in a row on Bitcoin. I was also predicting a gold-silver price rise to take place in the second week of the month. And that's another prediction that I got wrong. In fact, in the middle of the month, the price of gold and silver actually fell. I think it was down by between 5 to 10% at one point. And it's kind of lingered there ever since. I did predict a stock market rise taking place in the month, and that did take place. And my other prediction on major business bankruptcies, that's taking place as well. In fact, it's just starting to hit the headlines now. And depending on which side of the political fence you're sitting on, they're either going to tell you that the economy is doing really well now compared to 12 months ago, because that was the height of the pandemic, or they'll tell you that bankruptcies are up to the highest point since the peak of the pandemic. It's one of those tomato things, but keep an eye on this. This is going to be hitting the headlines more and more, I believe, over the next few months. So for those of you keeping track on this, that brings my predictions to being 22 correct out of 28 so far this year. And this is one of my worst months, I think, since I started this channel, to get 2 wrong in a single month. And I'm getting a lot of negative comments and actually trolling comments from some of you guys as well. So what I thought I'd do before we get to the predictions on what I think will happen in July is just step back from all of this and kind of give you guys some realistic expectations of what I can do and where the accuracy of Jyotish is. And to explain what I mean by that, I'll pull up a chart of the stock market over the last year or two. And I want to show you guys generally where my track record has been with this kind of thing. So I actually predicted the top of the market happening at the start of 2020. We predicted the big crash taking place and also the big rebound happening too. In fact, when that rebound happened, we got that right, I think down to within a day of when it actually happened. A lot of people at the time were saying that the markets are closed, the world is shut down, that the bankruptcies will continue. Whereas I, looking at the Jupiter transit that took place at that time, predicted that the world would bounce back very soon. Not only that, I predicted a sideways movement taking place all of April. The one I got wrong was in the middle of May. I thought the markets would go down, whereas instead they went up. And then at the end of June, I predicted the markets would go up, correct in September. Then they've been going up more or less ever since then. Actually predicted this more recent correction in May and then upwards from there. So as you can see, the general trend has been right, except for this big circle in the middle. And that lasted for about, I think, 4 weeks from memory. So of the last 52 weeks, 4 weeks have been off. So that's about a 10% error rate, which is something I'm actually really comfortable with. Because you'll never find a professional in any industry who's going to be right 100% of the time. In fact, the accuracy rate that I try and go for is between 70 to 80%. What I mean by that is if you guys go to your lawyer and ask them what their win rate is, it'll probably be close to 50%. If you go to your GP and ask them to diagnose a disease you've got, they'll be accurate about 60% of the time. And most economists or financial analysts, if you ask them what will happen to the economy, say 12 months from now, they'll only be accurate 50% of the time. So my personal goal is to be right between 70 to 80% of the time. So I don't feel bad about having egg on my face that 20 to 30% of the time, because I just see that as infallible human error. You can't do anything with that. And I'll show you another example here. This is the Bitcoin chart. And if we kind of zoom out here a little bit, these are the charts that I show my members, by the way. we look at all these different transits and make predictions on where the prices go. But if we go back about 12 months ago, I was talking about the price being flat within this triangle, then shooting up just as the Rahu transit happened. And then I predicted that whole move upwards taking place over there. I got this correction completely wrong. We did, however, predict the price to go up that way. And then we were predicting that Bitcoin would stay within this kind of range just over there. Though when I drew it initially, I think I was looking at that line and that line just over there. But anyway, we kind of got that whole zigzaggy pattern right. And then this whole area down here, I've been wrong on for about, as I said, 2 months now. So if we take those 2 months and then that 3-week period, that means for the last 12 months, I've been wrong on Bitcoin for about 10 weeks or about 20%. Again, for me, that's an acceptable margin of error. And so the reason I mention this is because I take it as a given that at some point in the future, I will be making mistakes. The general trend of what I talk about, though, does seem to work out. And if I'm wrong 20% of the time, that's something I can live with. But I don't want you guys taking what I say as financial advice, because it is possible to lose all the money you have, even in this huge upward bull market, if you're getting in at this point and selling down at this point. So remember, I'm not a financial planner, I'm just telling you where I believe energy sits. You guys should be doing your own research and making your own plans. Now, having said that, let's have a look at July and where I think the predictions will be sitting over the next month. And my first prediction is that July will be a good month for stocks. The indices are at all-time highs in most places around the world, and I think they'll be hitting newer highs throughout this month. I'm also predicting a gold and silver price rise to take place, but I'm putting a 6-week window on this from the middle of July to the end of August. That's basically the sun transiting through Cancer and through most of Leo. That should be good for the precious metals. Having said that, I'm also predicting a major commodities price rise to take place here as well. Coinciding with that will be an oil price rise. And although oil is technically a commodity, I think the reason the price of oil will start going up is because there will be a belligerent country in the world that will start making war preparations from the middle of July to the end of August. The actual armed conflict itself won't be starting in July, that's for a little later on in the year. I'll tentatively want to say about September, but you should start hearing those war drums beating in about this 6-week period. So throughout this month, keep your propaganda filters up. There's going to be a lot of that happening in the news. I'm also predicting a new round of stimulus taking place. And that, guys, is where I want to end this video. I know I had a really bad month, but I'm not going to hide behind my wrong predictions. My promise and commitment to you, when I do get something wrong, I'll tell you all about it. I won't hide behind it. Alright guys, that's the end of this video. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section below. Thanks a lot.